Facing a daunting challenge, Sultan Alp Arslan, with only a fraction of the forces of the Byzantine army, remained resolute in his conviction. With a belief in divine support, Alp Arslan led his 20,000 warriors to a historic victory that preserved Muslim states and fortified the religion against Byzantine campaigns. This triumph not only expanded his dominion across Asia, but also furthered the spread of Islam, securing his legacy as a pivotal Islamic leader. Born into Seljuk royalty, Alp Arslan was steeped in the arts of war and governance from youth. His martial prowess and leadership skills earned him the moniker, the Brave Lion. Beyond the battlefield, Arslan's character shone with virtues of generosity, fairness, and wisdom. He upheld the highest standards of conduct, exemplified when he dismissed a slander against his minister, choosing forgiveness over punishment. His reign was marked by his commitment to justice, as seen when he executed a Mamluk for usurping a subject's property. His governance was also characterized by compassion for his subjects, consideration for the less fortunate, and humility in his prosperity. Sultan Alp Arslan, through military might and moral leadership, emerged as a formidable but just ruler, remembered as one of history's greatest sultans. Alp Arslan, acclaimed for his knowledge of royal histories, Islamic law, and dedication to his pledges, commanded respect far and wide. His reputation for good character brought kings to his court, expanding his influence from Central Asia to the Levant, affirming his moniker as the Sultan of the world. The path to Alp Arslan's rule was set in 1059, upon inheriting leadership over Khorasan, Marv, and Transoxiana from his father. With the wise Nizam al-Mulk as his advisor, Alp Arslan navigated the intricate politics of the Seljuk state. After Tughrul Beg's death, Alp Arslan was overlooked for succession in favor of a young nephew, Suleiman. But with Nizam al-Mulk's support, Alp Arslan overcame this challenge and claimed the Sultanate in 1063, even acknowledging Suleiman as his successor to stabilize his rule. Alp Arslan's reign was marked by overcoming internal rebellion and fortifying his authority, heralding a pivotal chapter in the Seljuk Empire's history. His scholarly demeanor and diplomatic acumen not only quelled rebellions, but also solidified his legacy as a statesman and a leader. Sultan Alp Arslan didn't get to bask in the glory of his new title for long. Right out of the gate, he faced a family feud when his cousin tried to hijack the throne, proclaiming himself Sultan in the city of Ray. Arslan's response? He rallied an army with his minister Nizam al-Mulk, and when the dust settled, the cousin was history, and Arslan had Ray under his thumb. But the family drama didn't end there. Alp Arslan's brother got a bit too ambitious in Kerman and Shiraz in modern-day Iran. Again, Alp marched in, toppled the rebellion, and reclaimed the cities. Even his uncle joined the rebellion, stirring up Herat. Like clockwork, Alp flexed his military muscle and turned his uncle from foe to fan. With his backyard cleaned up and the caliphate on speed dial, Alp Arslan turned his gaze to the Christian borders. Brandishing the sword of Islam, he set off on a divine conquest spree, ticking off Armenian and Georgian territories like items on a shopping list. And just like that, the Sultan wasn't just a domestic hero. He was the big boss of the Islamic world. Under the formidable leadership of Sultan Alp Arslan, the Seljuk Empire's map expanded, with victories from the fortified Armenian city of Ani to the strategic heights of Transoxiana. The Sultan's military prowess was on full display as he capitalized on his enemy's weaknesses, securing regions essential to the stability of his realm. Yet, Alp Arslan's ambitions weren't solely martial. Answering a call from Cairo, he advanced into Bilad al-Sham and Jerusalem, replacing the Shia Fatimid banner with the Sunni Abbasid flag. He seamlessly brought vast territories under his fold, from Azerbaijan to Sogdiana, tightening his grip on the Islamic world. Alp Arslan's domestic policies mirrored his military success. Together with his chief strategist and minister Nizam al-Mulk, He launched a scientific renaissance and revamped the state's administration. Nizam al-Mulk's governance was marked by his meticulous management of the empire's ministries, a sweeping tax reform that eased the financial burden on the populace, and the establishment of an extensive justice system. The Sultan's policies fostered internal stability and spurred economic prosperity. He addressed sectarian strife head-on, halting divisive rhetoric and promoting inclusivity. His reign became synonymous with an era of peace and prosperity that saw the Seljuk state's influence soar. A parallel focus on military strength saw the creation of a powerful Mamluk regiment, bolstering the empire's defenses. Alp Arslan didn't just strategize from the throne, he led from the front lines, a sultan unafraid to face the perils of battle alongside his soldiers, exemplifying the courage and resolve that became the hallmark of his reign. The Seljuk Empire under Sultan Alp Arslan was a crucible of military and academic innovation. Alp Arslan and his minister Nizam al-Mulk transformed the empire's financial foundation. This initiative spurred development and cultivation of state lands and led to agricultural prosperity, showcasing a sophisticated understanding of resource management. Education, a cornerstone of the Sultan's vision, was revolutionized. Esteemed scholars were positioned at the helm of the newly established Nizamiya schools. These schools, which sprouted in every corner of the Sultanate, from bustling Baghdad to distant towns, were not merely academic institutions. They were bastions of Sunni Islam and played a strategic role in countering the spread of Shiite thought. With a curriculum encompassing a broad spectrum of Islamic sciences, language, and literature, along with the construction of libraries, these schools became the engine rooms for religious and scientific enlightenment in the Islamic world. In the geopolitical arena, Sultan Alp Arslan's successes reached their zenith at the Battle of Manzikert. Despite facing a Byzantine army that vastly outnumbered his own, the Sultan's tactical acumen shone through. His adversary, Emperor Romanos IV, had mobilized a formidable alliance including forces from across the Christian world. But the Seljuk army, though smaller, was better led and more disciplined. Alp Arslan's military ingenuity and his readiness to face overwhelming odds, encapsulated in his words, trusting his fate to divine will, resulted in a historic victory that stunned the Byzantines and secured the Sultan's legacy as a master strategist. This triumph at Manzikert did not just signal a turning point in the clash between the Seljuk and Byzantine empires. It also underscored the emergence of the Seljuks as a dominant power in the medieval world. In the sweeping saga of the Seljuk Empire's rise, the Battle of Manzikert stands as a pivotal chapter. Sultan Alp Arslan, leading a charged assault against a formidable Byzantine army, offered a hand of peace to Emperor Romanos IV, only to be met with scorn. The emperor's disdain and refusal to entertain reconciliation sparked fury among the Seljuks, setting the stage for an epic confrontation. Driven by a profound sense of duty to Islam and heeding the counsel of the revered Imam al-Bukhari, Alp Arslan rallied his forces with the cry of jihad. This spiritual mobilization struck a chord with his soldiers, steeling them for a battle presented as a defense of their very faith. The ensuing conflict was nothing short of dramatic, culminating in a decisive victory for the Seljuks and the capture of Emperor Romanos. The Sultan's subsequent treatment of the emperor, respectful and ultimately leading to his release for ransom, reflected a complex interplay of chivalry and realpolitik. The aftermath of Manzikert resonated deeply across the realms of both the Islamic and Christian worlds. For the Seljuks, it was not merely a military triumph, but also a religious vindication that significantly expanded their sphere of influence, allowing for the proliferation of Islam throughout Asia. It marked the decline of Byzantine dominion and set the Seljuks on a trajectory of becoming a global powerhouse. This victory echoed in the halls of power, from Constantinople to Baghdad, where the Abbasid Caliph celebrated the news with grandeur, bestowing upon Sultan Alp Arslan honors that affirmed his status as a defender and expander of the faith. Manzikert thus stands as a symbol of a significant shift in the balance of power, with the Seljuks emerging as the stalwarts of the Muslim world. Just 2 short years following the monumental Battle of Manzikert, Sultan Alp Arslan's life was cut tragically short. At the age of 44, the Sultan, who had masterminded a remarkable victory and altered the course of history, faced a grim end, not on the battlefield against Byzantium, but at the hands of a treacherous rebel within his own domain. In a cruel twist of fate, it was Yusuf al-Khwarizmi, a once subjugated foe who turned assassin, that brought an end to Alp Arslan's reign. After capturing Yusuf post-rebellion, and during a heated confrontation, Arslan's attempt to personally dispatch his captor went awry, allowing Yusuf to strike a fatal blow. The Sultan's demise came slowly, succumbing to his injuries after 4 agonizing days. His final resting place was among his forebears in Merv, his life and reign concluding after 9 years of rule that had been marked by military genius and significant territorial expansion. The death of Sultan Alp Arslan, a figure of immense consequence in the Islamic world, marked the end of an era. He was a sultan who had not only staved off the Byzantine threat, but had also been pivotal in the spread of Islam across Asia. His legacy, secured in the annals of history, remains that of a visionary leader and a formidable foe against the Byzantine Empire. As the world looked on, the Seljuk state mourned the loss of a ruler who had brought them stability, prestige, and expansion, a sultan whose memory would be honored throughout the ages.